And yeah, and somebody from the pharmaceutical companies come and say, hey, have you finished packing up? And these guys say, no, sir, there is still 1,267,522 packs left. And the guy shouts, come on, pack up already. Work, you scientists. And then they start working. Hello, welcome to IELTS Juice. Thank you for submitting your essay with us. Let's start assessing it. In their advertising, businesses nowadays usually emphasize that their products are new in some way. So there are businesses that they advertise, and when they advertise, they usually say that what they offer to the market is brand new. But the way they show it in some way means it is new. That is the naughty part. There's a twist, and IELTS says in some way. So maybe in some good ways and sometimes in not so good ways. So that is the tricky part. We want to know why is the case. Basically come up with some reasons why businesses keep putting the emphasis on the things that, for instance, generate this idea in your head that this is new. And then, do you think it's a positive or negative development? You see, that's the twist. So when IELTS says in some way, there is room for us to think that it can be in a good way or in a bad way. And IELTS wants you to exactly develop in that regard. So let's focus on the response. It is common for business owners to promote their products in a way, I like that, to make them seem revolutionary. That's a very good word. Very good word. And it's better than brand new or modern or contemporary, things like that. It's revolutionary. That's the reason many businesses say it's brand new. I believe this is primarily because the current market is extremely competitive, and this is an unfavorable, spelled in British English, marketing strategy, as most of the items are not actually what they originally were promoted to be. Okay, so the first part of the sentence is about the first question. I believe this is primarily because the current market is extremely competitive. So the competition is the reason why we have so many businesses pushing for this trend that their product is, I'm going to borrow your word, revolutionary. And this is an unfavorable marketing strategy, as most of the items are not actually what they originally were promoted. This is the second question. So it's unfavorable, has a negative connotation. This strategy is not actually another structure with a negative connotation. So you're exercising your phrases and vocabulary, and you're flexing your language muscles, telling me that I know how to handle words, I know how to handle phrases, and I know how to manipulate them or put them in a way that gives my audience a negative feeling or vibe. That's very good. Let's move on to the first body paragraph. So the first body paragraph is going to be about the reason why we have this trend, and the reason we already know is competition. The competition, we know it's a correct referencing, in the business sector is fierce. Good word. And wanting an edge over, wow, the competitors is understandable. I like that. So you're saying this is a fierce competition, and to some extent we understand that. Most entrepreneurs strive, beautiful, to win over potential buyers, to pick them over their adversaries. Good. I mean, I love these words. And these words are genre specific. At this point in the assessment, I am thinking this is 9 in vocabulary. This is not a coincidence to see, fierce, competition, competitive, revolutionary, adversaries. These are genre-specific words. So the writer is definitely knowledgeable. That is what this representative is telling me. In other words, they would do anything to persuade their target audience that they have a superior product and that choosing them is more cost-effective. They are very good. Now I would like to know a little bit about cost-effective, and here we have an example. For instance, the way Apple promotes its new iPhones every year is remarkable, and how it always attempts to include a new feature that is not found in its biggest opponent, Samsung. That's good. That's very good. This is a real example. This is correct. And yes, it is cost effective. It also has that bombastic feature of saying, yeah, this is a revolutionary product. iPhone has never been better, ever. You're right. In this way, they are a step ahead, and this might be enough to convince potential customers to buy their mobiles. Everything in this paragraph looks great. Regarding the message, I totally understood the message. It's very well written, and I can't wait to continue reading the other paragraph. Although marketing new merchandise as being groundbreaking, I mean, this vocabulary-wise, it's 9. I mean, for sure, the range is very wide. Is considered good to excel. Well, as being groundbreaking is considered good to excel over contenders. Maybe you could come up with a better alternative to the word good, because it's a business practice, and you can say, yeah, it's a common business practice, instead of saying just good. But again, that's fine. You don't lose any marks because of that. It is not the best idea to lie and deceive individuals. I'm digging it. Most of the new products are a scam. Okay, most of the new products, if you're referring to the new products that you already talked about in the previous paragraph, that's a little bit of stretch. Because every paragraph has its own autonomy and independence. If you're going to give a reference from this paragraph to something in the previous paragraph, you cannot just simply say the and we are as readers of your work. We just assume that, yeah, you refer us to the item in the previous paragraph. That's very hard and it's risky. So if I were here as the writer, I would have replaced this, and initially I would again say that what this is. Or you can just basically forget this and say most new products, and you generalize. Most new products are a scam. Now, a lot of when you generalize, they need to be in synchronization with each other. So there are new products, and most of them are a scam. So it's better to say new products are scams, instead of just thinking about them as one category. And marketers use trendy words, quote unquote, to attract new customers. I like that, but this method is not very writing-like for IELTS, meaning it's not suitable to put, I understand you want to say that this is the so-called trendy. It's spoken to say quote unquote, and you do this. And I get it, we get it, it's the message, but that's informal. It's better to use the word so-called. And marketers use the so-called trendy words, maybe, and you need to hyphenate the word, anything before that, to attract new customers. Unfortunately, it is quite common to market an item as being life-changing. Okay, I get this one. Maybe you actually want to show me that you borrowed it from another advertisement or another ad. You borrowed it already. In this case, it's fine. This one has a way to justify. This may sound a little spoken, even though it is not. Yeah, you see? It's always better. This is writing, so you don't have the gestures, you don't have the body language, you don't have intonation that is normal for speaking. So you have to actually write something. And the way that you code it means it's not my words, or it's not in my vocabulary. I'm borrowing it from somebody else. And it's my opinion that it is not what they claim it is. And the geriatric population, good, that's a good one. And the geriatric population is frequently falling prey, oh, beautiful, to such scams. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. Nice. So in this paragraph, we talked about the second question, and you already showed and expressed your dissatisfaction with this trend going on among businesses. That's very clear. Your grammar is shouting, your punctuation is shouting that, and your vocabulary choice is also in line with that strategy. It's not an issue if you start a sentence with a lowercase letter. It's IELTS. Capitalization doesn't have any extra scores for you. This is mainly because there are no regulations. What is mainly because? This is mainly because there are no regulations regarding fair marketing. Okay, are we going to talk about regulations? And in this case, you might say, again, look, every paragraph has its own identity. We cannot just simply start a paragraph by saying, yes, it is connected to the previous one. It is connected to the previous one, but it has its own identity. If this is the main elements of this paragraph in the very first sentence are still connected heavily upon the continuation of the message in the previous paragraph, then why do we have a separate paragraph? Why is it there? It doesn't have to be there, you know? It can be the continuation of the previous paragraph still. But it seems that it has its own identity because we are going to talk about regulations. So let's see. For example, I'm not a fan of starting your paragraph supporting part. So this is the topic sentence. But once you want to start actually supporting your topic sentence, then you need to come up with some sentences. When you start by examples, it is very hard because your example now has to carry two responsibilities. One is to be an example, and the second is to act as a development for the topic sentence, because topic sentences only act as the gateway to the topic. Now I need some explanation of the topic and its connection with the ideas that I have been presented with in this essay, and I need some more words, but we don't have those words here. We just start by an example. It is very difficult to put both burdens on top of the example's shoulders, you know? It's very difficult. I'm just saying I'm not a fan. It's not wrong, but it's gonna make the execution of the sentence very difficult. For example, pharmaceutical companies promote their new vitamin bottles as anti-aging. I love that. There's no consistency because you have double quotation marks and here you have just only single quotation. Um, this at IELTS that matters, so please stay consistent. Or as diet replacements, and you see this one is not this doesn't get the punctuation marks. What's the difference between diet replacements and anti-aging? They're both the pharmaceutical company's words, none of which, I love this grammar, is FDA approved, beautiful, or backed up by scientific study. Backed up, not packed up. Like scientists don't go and pack up all the drugs in a box, you know, pack them. And yeah, and somebody from the pharmaceutical companies come and say, hey, have you finished packing up? And these guys say, no, sir, there is still 1,267,522 packs left. And the guy shouts, come on, pack up already. Work, you scientists. And then they start working a little faster. I'm joking. But this is backed up by scientific studies or clinical trials. Okay. All right. Clinical trials is a very good word, by the way. I mean, I'm astounded by the sheer beauty of the vocabulary here. I love them. In conclusion, it is acceptable for businessmen to promote their items as radical. Honesty should not be omitted. In conclusion, it is acceptable for businessmen to promote their items as radical. However, honesty should not be omitted. Oh, we have a missing. Oh, this is a bad error. Oh, this is not at all good. This is going to bring down the coherence cohesion to 6. Because now we have the connection between two parts of a sentence is false or is erroneous, has an error. That's a shame. That's a shame. It's understandable that they need to somehow captivate the target audience. Misleading and lying to purchasers is unacceptable practice. I need maybe a semicolon here. Another problem. The conclusion is clear. The problem is I am filling out. I'm sorry. I am trying to fill in the gaps with my own words. That shouldn't happen. That's bad. That's effective. It's an effective error. Let's look at the band descriptors. So, yeah, I had some errors, and the errors did not impede my communication. The problem was more likely in the faulty connection between sentences. Yeah. And also, I didn't get why we had a separate paragraph with the identity a little bit not clear. Or if that's the identity, then you lose score in referencing because the paragraph started with the word this, and It's the beginning of a paragraph, and we just say, this is something. And you wonder, what is something? It's a new paragraph. What are you talking about? So it's either this or this. So one of them lose or make the score go down to 6. I don't need to say anything about task response. It was beautiful. I don't need to say anything about lexical resource. It was astonishing, beautifully written. Instead of that packed back, that's just one error. That it's yeah, it's spelling error, and that's very rare. I didn't pick up any major any major errors. Some structures were, I mean, the structures, the number of grammatical structures was, of course, varied. The execution of grammar was professionally done, but in some cases it wasn't written like. The punctuation wasn't contributing to a formal written structure, so it wasn't natural, but it was professional. It was done with good and knowledgeable commitment and command over the sentences. And of course, they don't impede communication. I just wanted a connector, and the missing connector affected your coherence and cohesion. 7.5, well, it's a little risky, 7.5, because it can go down to 7 if this grammar, this one lose it's 7. And it might happen at a real IELTS test. Some of my colleagues might go a little bit further. And it's usually natural to consider that between two examiners, there's a half a point difference in their assessment. And that is considered within the acceptable margin of error. So this one is a generous 7.5. It could get a 7 in a real test. So if this is not your desired score, be mindful of that. Be careful what grammar you use, and make sure you use them and execute them accurately. On that note, I know this is a very good representative for you, a very, 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 very good representative. I know you have the potential to make it even better if that's your goal. And on that note, I really have nothing else to say but to wish you a lovely day ahead. Take care.